Alright guys, in today's video we're going to be having a discussion surrounding the next generation PlayStation as well as the next generation Xbox. But the main focus of this discussion video is going to be on the digital edition of the PlayStation 5. I know that the upcoming event happening Wednesday is going to be an extremely exciting moment. I obviously can't wait. I know that pretty much all of you listening to this can't wait. But we still have to wait patiently. It's not Wednesday yet. And in this video, I'm going to be going over a leak that, in my opinion, is 100% legitimate. But I do not plan to entice people to click on this video based on this leak, because at this point in time, I do not care about the leaks. In my opinion, it's just a matter of a couple of days until everything is revealed, everything is laid out on the table by Sony. I firmly believe that. And so I don't want to come across as, oh, look at all these things that are leaking out. There's going to be some surprises, I believe. And one of the reasons why I'm choosing to highlight this as well is because to me, this shouldn't come as a surprise. However, the thing I really do want to focus on with this discussion video is just how important this is to the next generation PlayStation and to Sony. And why maybe if you are somebody who doesn't believe this, I think it's safe to believe it. I think it's safe to say this is 100% what's going to happen. So what am I talking about? Talking about the price point of the digital edition PlayStation 5 specifically. We know that Sony cares very much about selling console hardware. If you don't believe me, just go listen to the way they've been talking about their approach to the next generation versus how Microsoft has been talking about their approach to the next generation. You could argue that, well, because Microsoft is going to have the cheapest console on the market, they care more about selling hardware, but you would be mistaken. Sony has successfully sold millions and millions and millions of home consoles. It is their bread and butter, it's where they make their money, and that's not going to stop with the PlayStation 5 generation. Again, Sony has made this abundantly clear. Sony is going to be pricing the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, in my opinion, I believe this, at $399.99. And it's going to be a mic drop moment for them. Make no mistake about that. Even though there are many of you who are already anticipating this, and that has been made clear not only by the majority of people who just talk about the PlayStation 5 price and how they really want to know what it is, that's what a large chunk of people are currently anticipating. But I conducted a poll on my channel yesterday as well. The last time I checked, it had about 17,000 votes, and more than 50% were believing that the price is going to be $500 for the physical edition and $400 for the digital edition. Now, the reason why the $399 price point is so important is also kind of obvious. This is Sony's ace in the hole. I know that on this channel here, a lot of us are what you would consider the core or hardcore fan base. And that's true, because to us, the thing we care about more than anything are the games. We don't really care about the price point too much. There's many of us who would be fine paying $500, $600, maybe even more than that for the PlayStation 5 if that's how much Sony was going to sell it for, because in our opinion, Sony is producing games from their first party and possibly even some third-party deals they're going to have that are not games you're going to want to miss. There's really not a price point that you could put on these games that would stop somebody who really cares about playing these games from playing them. But for a lot of other people, because again, I have to highlight the fact that Sony has sold millions of consoles. Just look at the PS4, look at the massive success that the PlayStation 4 as a console has found. It's in millions of homes around the world. The price has a huge, huge role to play in that. And this time around, the price is going to play just as big of a role. It really is, especially when you consider the situation, the economy finds itself in, how there's a lot of people who are certainly going to want to get a PS5, but it has to hit that sweet spot in order for them to make that a reality. The digital edition is going to come in at $399. It's going to be Sony's ace in the hole. And when I tell you that this thing is going to fly off the shelves, the digital edition specifically, you better believe it. Now, the leak I was referring to, this comes from a well-known Spanish retail chain, and there were actually 2 images that have leaked out so far. And some people have claimed that this is a placeholder, but I'm going to be honest with you right now, I'm hard-pressed to believe that at this point in time, considering we're probably about 48 hours away from getting the official price point of the PlayStation 5, I'm hard-pressed to believe that this is merely just a placeholder. Now, the first image you're going to see 2 SKUs that don't actually have a name, but they're listed underneath a bunch of other Switch consoles, and one SKU is priced at $499 and the second is priced at $399. Now, obviously these are not Switches. We're looking at the PlayStation 5. But there's a second image that apparently leaked out from the same retailer that this time it does list the name of the PlayStation 5. It says PS5 1 and PS5 2, and again, $499 and $399. Again, I don't want to focus on this leak too much because I don't care whether this leak is legitimate or not. To me, it seems 100% legitimate and correct, but in my opinion, you don't really need a leak at this point to tell you that. Why do you think Sony, apparently this upcoming event that they're going to be showing, why do you think that internally they were referring to it as Project Nimble? If you know the definition of nimble, you know it means to be kind of light on your feet, I guess, to be able to take action very swiftly. That's what it means. It's because they were anticipating this. They were waiting for Microsoft. I am only saying this because there are some people who believe that that's not why Sony has been waiting so long to reveal this information. But it is. Sony has been waiting for Microsoft to show their hand. And Microsoft did. And now Sony's going to respond. And I promise you that even if Sony potentially was planning to sell the digital edition at maybe $500 and somehow, for some reason, the physical edition at $600, even if that was something they were considering, the second they saw that $300 price point from the Xbox Series S is when they knew that we're going to hit that $399 price point with the digital edition. There is also an added benefit. Of course, they're going to be selling it at a loss, but they will recoup that loss in a pretty significant way as well in the long run through digital sales. Anybody who does buy the digital edition of the PlayStation 5 is locked into any purchase you make has to be done through the PlayStation Store. Sony is effectively cutting out the middleman, and they're gaining more profit, pure profit from it as well. And over time, as these components come down in price, the components that are used in the PlayStation 5, they're going to recoup that cost, and they're going to effectively lock millions of people into the digital ecosystem of the PlayStation Store. And that's great for Sony. Now, me personally, I'm going to be, at least I plan to buy the physical PlayStation 5, even if it is more expensive. Now, one last thing I do want to mention here before ending this discussion video is some people have made the point, and I kind of bought into this momentarily, but then I realized, no, I don't think that's the case. They would say that Sony won't price the PlayStation 5 physical edition anyway at $500. The $100 price difference there is not justifiable considering it's just a disc drive. I do not agree with this. Sony is aware that the overwhelming majority of people who are going to buy a console, they are not aware of how much a disc drive costs Sony. We know that it's really not that expensive for them because they're buying it in bulk, but most people don't know that. So if you were to tell somebody, oh, it's going to be $100 more if you want to use physical discs, and it's also a 4K Blu-ray player, let's not forget that, and you see how much 4K Blu-ray players sell on their own. I mean, they're hundreds of dollars, right? And that's basically all you're getting. So with that in mind, it's really not unrealistic or unjustifiable for Sony to have a $100 difference. I mean, if you look at the Series S, of course there is a power difference, but one of the reasons why they're able to hit that $300 price point and actually price it not $100 but $200 cheaper than the Series X, the fact that it's a digital only console helps with that. So I just wanted to take some time to talk about this because, guys, I think if you're anticipating a $399 price point for the digital edition of the PS5, for those of you who are hoping that that's what the PS5 is going to cost, I think you're going to be pretty happy. Not only do we have some actual evidence here that very clearly points to, again, something in my opinion that should be more than obvious at this point, we also have the Game Reactor report where they're saying this is what they were hearing from individuals on the inside who are, close to what's going on right after Microsoft revealed the price of the Series X and S. This is apparently the first thing that Sony was figuring out and deciding on. And it all makes complete sense to me. So this is Sony's ace in the hole. We're excited for games, and tomorrow I plan to talk more about the Wednesday event, talk more about our expectations. I just kind of want to give a brief overview of what exactly I think we should expect. I talked about this during the podcast, but I know that not everybody watches the podcast since it runs for like 3 hours practically. So tomorrow I'm going to have a separate video where I talk about the games that we could potentially see revealed, whether or not we should expect any new game reveals, and if we do see new game reveals, what exactly will they be? But I had to take time to make this video before Sony reveals the price because I'm telling you right now, this is the ace in the hole for Sony. This is the ace that they've been saving up their sleeve, and it's going to be the biggest win for the PlayStation 5 that the PlayStation 5 could ever hope to achieve. The games are amazing. The games mean everything to us, but the price of this console at $400, I'm telling you. And one last thing, I apologize to keep extending this video, but I know some people are going to say, well, they're still not undercutting Xbox with the $300 Series S. But you have to understand, anybody who's paying even just a little bit of attention, when they realize just how vastly different those two consoles are in terms of what they're going to be offering, not just game-wise, but game-wise, that'll be the most obvious thing, but also spec-wise, yeah, you can't beat that $400. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to leave it a like. Make sure you leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.